Good morning, class. Today we'll begin with a new chapter, that is simple equations. To begin with, what is an equation? An equation is defined as a condition on a variable. The condition is to have two expressions which should be equal. So what do you mean by a variable, expression, constant? There are various terminologies which are used in equations. So firstly, let us get to know these terminologies before going ahead. To begin with, let us know what is algebra first. Algebra
Helps
is
us write long phrases in a very short way using variables. That's the beauty of algebra. How do we write the sum of 3 and 7 using numbers? We just write it as 3 plus 7. Let me modify the question a bit. How do we write the sum of a number and 7? Since this number is unknown, we use a variable in its place and write it as x plus 7. Both these are called expressions. As this involves only numbers, it's called a numerical expression. And because it involves variables, it's called an algebraic expression. Now look at this line. Sum of a number and 7 equals 12. Now it gets interesting. Let's break it into parts. Sum of a number and 7. It can be written as x plus 7 equals 12 can be written as equal to 12. We wrote this phrase as x plus 7 equals 12. Is this an expression? No, that's not the case. This is called an equation since it has an equal to sign. It's called so because we are equating two sides, the left hand side and the right hand side. What are the different parts of an equation? This is called the variable, that is, we are expected to find. And these two numbers are called constants as their value remains constant. There are also operators like addition and subtraction. So these are the important parts of an equation. Remember, the equal to sign divides the equation into two sides, the left hand side and the right hand side.
So let us now begin with the exercise 4.1. Here I am explaining you the exercise in the textbook. You will have to draw the same in your notebook and note it down, right? The first one is complete the last column of the table. So here the first one is x plus 3 is equal to 0. So here x is equal to 3. So we have to put x is equal to 3 and check whether the left hand side is equal to the right hand side and it's a proper equation, right? So and whether this value is satisfying this equation, right? So here we are adding 3 here. So 3 plus 3 is equal to 0. No. So it is a 6 is equal to 0. No. So we'll write here as no. Similarly, x plus 3 is equal to 0. X is equal to 0. No. This is also not satisfying. X plus 3 is equal to 0. X is equal to minus 3. So minus 3 plus 3 is equal to 0. Yes. X minus 7 is equal to 1. X is equal to 7. 7 minus 7 is 0, not 1. So no. X minus 7 is equal to 1. X is equal to 8. So 8 minus 7 is equal to 1. Yes. So similarly, you have to solve all the other problems. You have to put this value, whatever they have given over here, in the specific equation, right? So this is the equation. In that you have to put the value and cross check the answer and write a yes or no here. I hope you understand what you have to do in this, right? Now let's move to the next question. In the next question they have told to check whether the value given in the bracket is a solution to the given equation or not, right? So over here the first one, A part says n plus 5 is equal to 90. N is equal to 1. So it's the same kind of question as in the question 1. They had written or given the value of the variable, right? So over here n is the variable and n is given as 1, right? So we have to try this and check whether this is satisfying this equation, right? So n is equal to 1. So 1 plus 5. 1 plus 5 is equal to 19? No. Right? So 1 plus 5 is not equal to 19. That is 6 is not equal to 19. So it is not a proper answer. Right? So just write no in the answer. Now over here, 7n plus 5 is equal to 90. N is equal to minus 2. Right? So over here it will go like 7 into minus 2 plus 5. So when we write 7 into minus 2 plus 5, we have to use BODMAS, right? So first we have to multiply and then add. So minus 2 into 7 will give you minus 14, and minus 14 plus 5 will not be equal to 90, right? So minus 14 plus 5 will give you, so it will come as minus 9. So minus 9 is equal to plus 14? No. So B will, this is also not a valid answer. Now let me show you the third one, right? I'll show you the proper format of how to solve and the steps that you will have to show in this, and then similarly you can solve the other problems of the second part. Let's see the solution of the second question C part. Here it was given that 7n plus 5 is equal to 19 and n is equal to 2. So putting n is equal to 2 in the LHS, right? Then 7 into 2 plus 5. So firstly we'll multiply. Plus 5 is equal to 19 or not. 14 plus 5, that is equal to 19. So therefore LHS is equal to RHS. N is equal to 2 is the solution of the given equation, right? Similarly you can do the other questions of the second part, right? Now let's move to the third one. The third one says 5p plus 12 is equal to 70. Solve the following equation by trial and error method. So you have to find the value of p using this method, that is the trial and error method, and satisfy it such that the equation is right. So let's try with 1. If p is 1, 5 plus 2 is equal to 17? No. If p is 2, 5p plus 2 is 17? No. Let's try with 3. Yes. So the value of p is 3 over here. Similarly, the second part, 3m minus 14 is equal to 4. Let me show you the steps that you will have to write in solving this second part. Let us see how to solve the third question, second part. Here 3m minus 14 is equal to 4 and we have to find the value of m, right? So firstly we'll do with the trial and error method and put 3 values and check which is the right one. So firstly we tried with 0. LHS is not equal to RHS, so m is not the solution. Then we tried with 1, then with 2, so both are not satisfying, right? And then we tried with 3, 4, 5 and then 6. So when we try with 6, LHS is equal to RHS and m is the, therefore m is the solution of the given equation, right? So m is equal to 6 is the solution. That specifically we will have to mention and then solve this particular question. Now let's move to the fourth question. Write the equation for the following statements. So these are the statements. You have to write the equation. The sum of number x and 4 is 9. So what will be the answer? Sum of number x and 4. So x plus 4 is equal to 9. Simple. 2 subtracted from y is 8. 2 subtracted from y, right? So from y you have to specifically note that. So you will write it as y minus 2 is equal to 8, right? This is a confusion question. Always remember 2 subtracted from y is equal to 8 is y minus 2 is equal to 8. 10 times a is 70. So that will be 10a is equal to 70. The number b divides by 5 gives 6. This we can write it as b divided by 5 is equal to 6. 3/4 of t is 15. So 3 by 4 into t is equal to 15. 7 times m plus 7 gets you 77. 7m plus 7 is equal to 77. 1/4 of a number minus 4 gives 4. 1 by 4x minus 4 is equal to 4. If you take away 6 from 6 times y, you get 60. If you take away 6 from 6 times y, so 6y minus 6 is equal to 60. If you add 3 to 1/3 of z, you get 30. That is 3 plus 1 by 3z is equal to 30. Right? Simple. Now let's go to the fifth question. Write the following equation in statement form. So here you had statements and you had to make the equation. Now you have the equation, you'll have to make the statements. Right? So similar manner you will have to make this. Like, let's do the first one, that is p plus 4 is equal to 5. So we can say the sum of number p and 4 is 15, right? Next one, m minus 7 is equal to 3. 7 subtracted from m gives you 3, right? Third one, 2m is equal to 7. 2 times m is 7. M divided by 5 is equal to 3. That can be written as the number m divided by 5 gives 3. 3m by 5 is equal to 6. 3 by 5 of m gives you 6. Similarly, you can do the other questions. So let us move to the next question, that is the sixth question. In the first half the questions are given, and then second half the solutions. So Irfan says that he has 7 marbles more than 5 times marble Permit has. Irfan has 37 marbles. So over here the hint is given that let us assume Permit marble is m. So in the solution we write m be the number of Permit marbles and then therefore 5m, because in the question it is specified that 5 times marble Permit has. So that means 5m plus 7, because he says he has 7 more marbles, and that is equal to 37. So 5m plus 7 is equal to 37. The second question, Lakshmi's father is 49 years old. He is 4 years older than 3 times Lakshmi age, right? So we know that Lakshmi's father's age is 49, and right now we'll assume Lakshmi's age as y. Then we can say 3y plus 4 is equal to 49. Similarly, you can solve the third and the fourth question. Now let us move to the next section, in which we'll know more details about simple equations and mainly about the steps involved in solving an equation, right? So in solving an equation, what all steps are required? Here are the basic 4 steps.
Observe the following statements. If 5 is added to the number x, the result is 25. If 7 is subtracted from a number x, the result is 10. If a number x is multiplied by 8, the result is 48. If a number x is divided by 10, the result is 7. Equality. A statement which contains the sign equals to is called an equality. Example, x plus 7 is equal to 10. 4x minus 5 is equal to 7. 8x is equal to 40. Equation. A statement of equality which contains one or more literal numbers is called an equation. Example, x plus 4 is equal to 12. 2x minus 3 is equal to 13. 8x is equal to 32. X divided by 4 is equal to 10. Sides of equations. An equation has 2 sides called the left-hand side LHS and the right-hand side RHS. Left-hand side LHS. The part of an equation before the sign of equality is called left-hand side. Right-hand side RHS. The part of an equation after the sign of equality is called right-hand side. Variable. Literal numbers, unknowns, contained in an equation are called the variables of the equation. These are usually denoted by x, y, z, u, v, w, etc.
Constant. A quantity which takes a fixed numerical value is called a constant. For example, 4, 7 are constants. Variable. The word variable means something that can vary, that is, change. A variable in algebra takes on different numerical values. The value of a variable is not fixed. Variables are usually denoted by letters of alphabet such as X, Y, Z, L, M, N, P, etc., etc. Expression. From variables, we form expressions. The expressions are formed by performing operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division on variables. For example, 5x plus 3 is an expression in which first we multiply variable x by 5 and then add 3.
Solution of an equation. A number which satisfies an equation is called the solution or root of the equation. We can solve a simple linear equation in one variable by two methods: trial and error method, systematic method. Trial and error method for solving an equation. We try several values of x and find the LHS and the RHS. We stop when for a particular value of x, LHS is equal to RHS. This value of x is the solution or root of the equation. Let us understand trial and error method with the help of the following examples. Systematic method. The solution or root of the equation is that value of the variable for which the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side, that is, equation becomes a true statement. Rules for solving linear equations. Rule 1. Same quantity can be added to both sides of the equation. Rule 2. Same quantity can be subtracted from both sides of the equation. Rule 3. Both the sides of an equation can be multiplied by the same number. Rule 4. Both the sides of the equation can be divided by the same non-zero number.
An analogy between an equation and a weighing balance help us to solve a given equation. While solving the equation, we keep the following principles in mind. The balance of an equation will be maintained if we add the same amount to both sides, subtract the same amount from both sides, multiply both sides by the same amount, divide both sides by the same amount. Let's consider an equation. 2x plus 4 is equal to 10. Now we subtract 4 from left-hand side. The equation becomes unbalanced. To balance it, we subtract 4 from the right-hand side too. Hence we get 2x is equal to 6. Now we divide both sides with the coefficient of x, that is 2. Therefore we get x is equal
Now let's
to
move to the next exercise, that is exercise 4.2. So this exercise basically is based on the basic rules that are required to solve an equation. Now what does it state? That whenever we add any number to left hand side, we should add it to the right hand side also. Second rule, whenever we subtract any number from left hand side, we have to subtract it from right hand side. Next rule, whenever we multiply any number with left hand side, we have to multiply to the right hand side. And the last one, whenever we divide any non-zero number to the left hand side, the same has to be done to the right hand side, right? Now using these four rules, we have to solve this equation. So the first one, give the first step you will use to separate the variable and then solve the equation, right? So the first rule says whenever we add or subtract any number to left hand side, we have to repeat the same in the right hand side, right? So the first one, x minus 1 is equal to 0. So to solve this, we have to separate this variable from the constants, right? So that we can solve this equation. So x minus 1 is equal to 0. If we add 1 both the side, this variable will be separated. So x minus 1 plus 1 will be equal to 1, right? So x will be equal to 1. So 1 is to be added on both the sides. Here x plus 1 is equal to 0. If we add minus 1 both the sides, then this variable will be separated. So x will be equal to minus 1. Similarly, the C part, x minus 1 is equal to 5, right? So in the C part, if we add 1 both the sides, right? If we add 1 both the sides, then we'll get x is equal to 6, right? Similarly, you can solve the other questions. Now the second question, give the first step that you will use to separate the variable and then solve the equation. 3l is equal to 42. So since these two are multiplied, so we can divide 3 both the sides, right? So when we divide 3 both the sides, L will be, the variable L will be separated from the constants and we'll be able to solve the equation. So 3L divided by 3 is equal to 42 divided by 3 and we'll get the answer as L is equal to 40, right? Then the B part, B by 2 is equal to 6, right? So if we add or if we multiply 2 both the sides, we'll be able to separate this variable B, right? So we'll get B is equal to 12. The C part, B by 7 is equal to 4. So if we multiply 7 both the sides, then we'll get P is equal to 28. Similarly, 4x is equal to 25. If we divide 4 both the sides, we'll get the variable separated and we'll get x as 25 by 4, right? Similarly, you can solve the other equations, right? So let's see one more, that is h part, 20t is equal to minus 10. So we'll have to divide 20 both the sides, right, to separate the variable t. So t will be equal to minus 10 by 20, that will be equal to minus 1 by 2, right? Now let's see this third part, third question. Give the steps you will use to separate the variable and then solve the equation, right? Now let's see the third part, how to. So the third equation, the C part says 20p by 3 is equal to 40. So here is the solution. You have to firstly specify the steps. The first step is to multiply 3 both the sides, right? So the step is, you have to write it multiplying 3 both the sides, and then the next step will be to divide 20 both the sides, right? Now in the fourth question, we will have to solve the equation. Similarly, we will have to find the value of the variable, right? So as you had learned, there are basically 2 types of solution. That is the trial and error method, while the other one is the systematic method of solving the equation. So here we are using the systematic method of solving an equation. So in the 4a part, the question is 10p is equal to 100. So firstly, we'll have to separate the variable from the constant. So we'll divide 10 both the sides and then we'll get p is equal to 10, right? So we will have to write it stepwise. Now the B part, 10p plus 10 is equal to 100, right? So firstly, remove the constant, that is 10. So for that, we'll subtract 10 both the sides. Then we'll get 10p is equal to 90. Now to remove the second 10, that is 10 which is multiplied to p, we'll have to divide 10 both the sides and we'll get the answer as 9. So here p is equal to 9. Now let us see the solution of C part. P4 by 4 is equal to 5. So in this, there is division. So we'll multiply 4 both the sides and we'll get the answer as 20. Similarly, do the other questions of the fourth part. Okay, and this way we'll be completing this exercise. So students, we are done for today. Your homework will be to complete 4.1 and 4.2 exercise. If you have any issues, you can contact me. Thank you. Have a great day.